lovely friends, welcome or welcome back to Tarot AF. So today we have another pick a card reading for you all on the topic of who is constantly thinking about you. So we're going to explore through tarot and also oracle cards who this person is, what your connection is now, potentially what they think about towards you as well. And obviously you don't necessarily have to reciprocate these thoughts or these feelings that may come up. So you may not even know that this person is thinking about you, which is the joy of this reading, because we get to look and explore at who that might be and what it is they might want to say to you. So if you've never been to a pick a card reading before, hello and welcome. We have 4 piles ready and waiting for you all today. So we have pile 1 with the Mystic Mondays Tarot and the Untitled Tooth. We have pile 2 with the Thoth Tarot and the Goldstone, just there. And we have pile 3 with the Tarot in Wonderland deck and the Serpentine Heart. And for pile 4, we have got the Santa Muerte Tarot deck with the Aquamarine Pebble just there. So what you can do, you can take a moment, you can pause the video, see which pile is drawing your eye. You may be attracted to more than one pile, which is absolutely fine. There might be a few people constantly thinking about you, so if you feel like you want to go for 2 piles, feel free to do that. And what I do is I post the times in the information box below and also the comment section, so you can skip ahead there for your reading. I will see you then. Bye. Hello, my lovely friends of pile 1. So if you pick the Mystic Mondays Tarot deck and the Untitled Tooth, then this reading is going to be for you. So firstly, let's shuffle your tarot cards. I've already got your oracles ready and waiting for this question of who is constantly thinking about you. And obviously you may not share the thoughts or feelings about this person that comes up, and that is absolutely fine. You do not have to reciprocate anybody's energy. You be truthful and authentic to yourself. You have free will. You decide what is for you and what is not for you. So let's take a look. So Spirit, who is constantly thinking about pile 1? So we've got that 3 of Swords in reverse. We've got this 10 of Swords too. Okay. Wow. Okay. We've got this Ace of Wands here and also this Ace of Cups. Okay. Let's get one more. Ooh, okay. We've got 2 more, both of which were down, but I think you want to be up. Okay. It's like, I want to be on my side. I think you do want to be on your side. I'm gonna allow that. I'm gonna allow that to be on its side there. And we've also got the King of Cups there too. Okay, pop you there. And then in terms of oracle cards, we have got Alchemist, transformation of base motives and goals into golden wisdom. We've got Camel. We have got flexibility, appreciation, and also effort there too. So firstly, what I'm seeing, I want to talk about signs first. So we've got this Camel, which is fire energy, Leo, Sagittarius, and Aries, but we've also got this water energy here within the King of Cups. So Scorpio, Pisces or Cancer. And the Camel is actually of both, of fire and water. So yeah, potentially moon, rising, sun, there's a kind of amalgamation of both, or potentially you're both, either or those things, or have them heavily within your chart. If you do not, then do not worry. It might just be a really nice confirmation if there is that. But firstly, what I think within this relationship, there feels like there was a rigidness and a need for a death or a split or a break of some kind. It feels like whatever there was, I mean, maybe ended in pain or heartbreak or betrayal of some kind, or it feels like with this Ten of Swords, like it was a rock bottom it hit, that it couldn't go on in the state that it was going towards. It felt like almost a car that was going off a cliff, and it was just almost inevitable that that was the way it was going to be coming crashing down. So it was almost like that energy needed to have a split and have a break at that moment in time. And I think given that time and space, it's actually allowed for a new appreciation and a new potential focus of this. Like with this Five of Swords, there is that kind of feeling that there was a defeat of some kind, whether it was because you were both too hasty, or one person was, or too slow to act, whatever it is. It's almost like picking up the pieces now. And this is why the Eight of Pentacles is on its side. It's either now whether you put the effort into trying again, or whether you like is that a phrase? Let sleeping ducks lie? Is that a phrase? I think it is, or something. I've probably absolutely messed that up, but either way, it's that like letting things be, like letting bygones be bygones, and allowing that energy, like wiping that slate clean and just saying, okay, we're just going to leave it how it is amicably now, and that's it. But I do think with that effort card, it is whether the effort is put in again, because maybe in a previous facet of this connection or relationship, it felt like there was that need for trying to make it work, but it felt like it was maybe potentially going nowhere, or like the results were not being yielded in the same way. Maybe one person felt like they were putting in more effort than the other, or both were making the effort, but it still wasn't appeasing. And sometimes it feels like you win a battle, but not the war. So potentially it doesn't feel like this is over, and there is potentially unfinished business here as well. But I think with this split, and this is why it feels like there was almost a kind of sun setting on one period, and this is almost the time of change here. Like when you hit that rock bottom, it's like that light at the end of the tunnel is going to find you, and a new dawn is setting, whether it's a dawn with this person or without. And I think now what there is there's the room and the space that was almost created through that break, or through that need to look at your, like, turning into your own emotions, both people, has allowed that balance, that almost self-transformation and that independence, where you can really know yourselves truly, like, and with this alchemist here, it's like each one of you has almost been able to have a bird's eye view of this situation, and really not analyze it, because that's where berating could come in, or the shoulda, woulda, couldas, because that's not helpful. But the understanding of where you drew your attention, where potentially you should draw it now. And that's the self-examination that I mean, that kind of alchemy of taking what has been past and slowly adding things and making those subtle changes in order to transform. And with this flexibility card, it feels like maybe potentially within this relationship now as well, there is that space that you can give each other a bit of slack, so that flexibility can find you, and it allows more life in with more ease. And I also think with this like yogic image here as well, like finding your center and your balance, and what roots you down, and yeah, listening to your own body and what it is that you need. And I think with this camel card, maybe what there was before was almost this this lack of vitality, this feeling that like things weren't flowing towards you, that you were always expanding, like giving things externally instead of taking for yourself. And that's when you can feel dehydrated or bogged down, that you're not receiving the same nutrients that other people are. And maybe both people were feeling that at one point, but now you realize that water that's inside of you, how can you focus that in towards your center instead of giving so much externally to this relationship, which maybe it felt like there was a kind of brick wall up, that it was only going so far and only stretching so far, your energy. And I think with this appreciation card as well, with the weeds on this side and then this thing blooming, I've got this image or this saying as well, you know, people that appreciate a flower won't pluck it and, you know, put it in a vase or whatever like that. They'll keep it rooted and kind of water its roots and allow it to grow naturally and flourish. And maybe there's that almost imagery of where that was, that they almost took those things and didn't nurture you on that level, on that need level, and maybe didn't appreciate to your fullest value potentially. And maybe now there's a found appreciation, or maybe they want to show that now they appreciate you in a different way. But again, I feel like that shows that there needs to be that effort on that side from them, and that appreciation, and also that need to put in that effort, to put in that work to show that they've changed, but also by doing the things that, you know, like doing rather than saying, like walking the walk is what I'm hearing. And I feel like maybe they've even come forward with this new opportunity kind of to take action. Maybe they're kind of, okay, let's do this, let's sit down, let's get together. And it feels like there's almost this surge coming towards you in some way, like maybe this fire has been switched back on with that Ace of Wands. And I think with this Ace of Cups as well, this new emotional opportunity, this new emotional experience, whether they want to talk about something or they've just kind of sent a message or whatever it is in some way. It feels like there's this reintroduction, like I said, this new dawn. And whether it will take root, I think is whether they will appreciate and whether they will actually take the time to nurture this connection out of this almost frozen period and thaw it out properly, or whether they say that they're going to do that but don't actually take the time to draw attention towards it in some way. And I think with this King of Cups, it feels like they are at this this space where they want to nurture others and help, and maybe they're much more level-headed in this way now, and potentially even more balanced and emotionally mature. Maybe they will take accountability for a lot of things, and actually maybe speak through their emotions and how they are actually feeling. And especially if words and thoughts and anxieties and fears were the thing that was screaming at them, and the thing that came to the death of the last time the connection potentially, I'm hearing flatlined, but I don't mean it in that way at all, but like things can still be resuscitated and brought back. But the last time this connection kind of ceased, and there needed to be that space, potentially they have, I'm hearing with this cup, like championed some of their emotions, or have been able to identify patterns within themselves. And I think that's because potentially they've opened themselves up, or potentially because of the room that they've given themselves, they've been able to look at things from different angles and become much more of an alchemist. Instead of almost this woe is me, it's happening to me, they're like, actually I'm accountable for the actions and where I draw my attention. And maybe they don't fear their emotions as much. With this Three of Swords in reverse, maybe they realize now that their emotions are a gift, and your emotions are a gift as well, and that they need to feel these things instead of potentially hiding now. But I feel like from your end, you may be in this state with this person where maybe you're like, that chapter is set, like I'm not interested in a new beginning or a new phase. Even if they want to start something, I'm not there yet. Or maybe you're almost teetering on the edge, like this Eight of Pentacles is here. Like, if I see the effort, if I see the change and feel the change, then potentially, and with that Five of Swords there, it's like, you know, you've not lost the war of love. Like, you're still battling on, and that's still where you're going, or within this connection or friendship or whatever it is. Like, you're not completely shutting it down and becoming distrustful of people, but within this connection, you need to see it, like, and maybe you're not like a results orientated person, but it's like the energy, you need to see that energy going in, because energy doesn't lie. The words, the thoughts, the feelings, all of those things can overwhelm you and kind of cloud your perspective, but that energy doesn't lie. That intuitive knowing doesn't. And I think that appreciation, like, you know when people are, again, I'm seeing with this appreciation card, the Nine of Pentacles, which is coming to mind. Like, you want them to be as independent and self-knowing as you are. Like this camel is, this balanced within, that with this fire and water, that they can temper both, that they're self-reliant and they can handle challenges with ease. And if they are facing challenges and you know, they get fiery or whatever it is, they can temper themselves out, and they know what it is that they need, and they can be vulnerable with themselves in that way. That's what you want for a person within any kind of relationship, whatever the connection is. You want someone who can manage themselves and look after themselves and be as emotionally mature as I feel like you are within this King of Cups card too. Someone who is level-headed and mature, and that's the reciprocated energy that you want. Someone that looks after themselves first and can extend that to others because they are sure. And whether this person is that is maybe something that you question, or you because I feel like I can hear, like, I believe people can change, but whether this person will change is another thing. And I'm hearing as well in that Frozen song where it's like the Fixer Upper song, where it's like, you know, people say that they can change, but they never really do. And I think you can become more self-aware of patterns and draw your attention to of the things that you need to change. And I do feel like you can impactfully change your life. And I think if you're not rigid with yourself and you realize that everything is temporary and it's not permanent, that you can reinvent yourself, but you have to put in that work and that effort and believe that you can do those things. And it feels like you've done that work for yourself, and I think this person can see all of those things, and whether they're catching up in their own time or not is not really of your concern, is what I'm hearing. But if they do want this new opportunity, and maybe that's what they are constantly thinking about, is how they approach, how they come forward, how they offer this full heart, then it's like, well, you would say to them in very little words, well, you need to do what you need to do. You need to work on the things that you want to do. You need to have that sense of independence and alchemize your life, and, you know, learn the lessons with this golden wisdom. You've got to learn the lessons that you've got to learn. You've got to go through, like, learning through these cycles and these patterns, and maybe they continually cropped up within this connection and it was almost like a mirror to them. Like, have you looked in the mirror yet? Have you analysed this? Have you looked at what part you've potentially played? Because like I said, I feel like you've done that for yourself. So with them constantly thinking about this, it may be from that space of, you know, maybe they're looking at it with a woulda, shoulda, coulda lens instead of a, okay, how do I move forward lens, and what effort do I need to put in to be a better version of myself, to grow and to learn. And if they are doing it that way, then maybe you would welcome that new opportunity. You don't have to, but maybe you would hear them out, listen to them. But yeah, and I think that's the thing, words, thoughts can all lie, the energy doesn't. So if the energy of the situation feels like they have changed, then you'll know. And also with that camel, that if there is that lack of vitality or that dehydration of like you feeling like you're being with almost an emotional spiritual drain in a way, then you'll know that within yourself. Whereas if you feel calm and content and that you are full and that person is full, but you can still provide the cherry on top of the cake, that's where you know it's right as well. So yeah, don't compromise on any of the hard work, Spirit wants to say, and the effort that you've put in towards yourself. And I'm hearing don't accept the bare minimum as well. Don't accept that from people, because you wouldn't accept that from yourself. If there was a goal or a desire that you were going after, or that self-transformation that I feel like you have been going on, you want to be the best version of yourself, and you're putting in that work, that effort, those hours to be that artist, and to create the things and to strive for perfection is a construct, but to strive for being your best self, like beating your personal best each time, like just get almost like the healthiest competition is with yourself. And I feel like that's where you are almost with that. And you know, I think this person needs to understand that you're not in a competition with them either, that it's not a competition of who's grown the most, who's changed the most. It's not about that. It's all a self-reflective journey. And I think that's what you've got to remember, that it doesn't matter in what way they've changed or if they haven't changed. The most important thing is your boundaries and what you've put in place in order that you don't repeat the same patterns that maybe this person has in the past or might fall into again. Like, you can recognize those within you. And of course, those traps and those things may pop up, but if you stay true to yourself and you have that appreciation for yourself, and you remember all that effort that you've put in, and you're also flexible to those energies, those new energies that come at you, and allow them to sit with you and move through you through that like bubble, that boundaries that you set. And if they fit in with you, that's when you can be flexible and vulnerable to them and change and grow. It's like this image here is in tree pose, and it's almost like that tree changing with the winds, changing with the seasons, adapting to change in order for fullest growth, following the sun, whatever it is. Like, I think there's that need to be not rigid with yourself or others, if there is that change, because potentially that can open things up. But I think also, if this is a learning curve of I don't want to start something new, like that phase ended with this person, okay, well, the dawn of new things coming from other people, you know what to expect, you know what to expect from others, but also you know what the energy will feel like when it is right. And don't be rigid with the thoughts of what someone else has done to you and overlay that over someone else. Don't put expectations of what they will be like based off previous experience. So my glorious friends of pile 1, I'm going to leave this reading here for you for who's constantly thinking about you. I know I went into a little bit of self empowerment and awareness right at the end there, but I felt like you needed that appreciation more, because there's kind of that beginnings and endings here, and whether you close the chapter, and that's the thing, we're always constantly beginnings and endings, whether you close it with this person or you have closed it and that's in the past. Like I said, you don't need to reciprocate the constant feelings, but if you want to start a new chapter with this person or with someone else, those are potentially the things that you need to remember within you based off of all your hard work. So yes, my glorious friends of pile 1, I'm going to leave that reading there for you guys today. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. I really hoped it resonated with you. I am sending all the love. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. If you'd like to see me again, please do hit that subscribe button. Until next time, so much love. Bye. Hi lovely friends of pile 2. So if you picked the Thoth Tarot and also the Gold Stone, then this reading is going to be for you. So firstly, let's shuffle your tarot cards, and I've already got your oracle cards ready and waiting for this reading of who is constantly thinking about you. And obviously this person may be thinking and feeling things about you, but you don't have to reciprocate them. You may not pay them a thought. You may think about them all the time. It doesn't matter. We're going to grab their energy. We're going to see potentially what it is that they do think towards you. But mainly it's just discovering who this person is. So Spirit, who is constantly thinking about pile 2? Okay, so we have the 9 of Wands. Who is constantly thinking about pile 2? We have the 2 of Wands, Dominion. We have the Empress in reverse. Ooh. We have 8 of Swords, Interference. And we have the 3 of Wands, Virtue. And on the back, we have the 8 of Wands, Swiftness as well. Let me just move all of those down a smidge. Can move them further down. Lovely. Okay, and then in terms of oracle cards, we have got Pioneer, passion for doing and creating what has not been done before. We have Raccoon. We have Rebirth. We have Rest and Rejuvenation. And we have Creativity as well. Okay, so first things first that I need to address is that my energy, I feel all of a sudden very, I feel like I've had like 5 coffees, and I feel all nervous all of a sudden, and my hands feel like they're shaking every single time oh my gosh, every single time I touch these cards. I feel a little bit of, I feel like pulses of electricity or something, like they're charged. And so I don't know whether this is the feeling that you generally have around this person. I feel twitchy and quite scattered in some way, and thrown a bit off balance, if I'm completely honest. And when I shuffled these cards and these all came down, I heard very specifically, read it like a storybook, like read it like a play or a book or something like that. And it's really interesting that we've got all of this creativity, not only through this numerology card, but also with Pioneer, passion for doing and creating what has not been done before. And the raccoon is all to do with artistry and hidden talents, and sometimes hiding behind a mask if you're doing something, like being in the shadow of your talent and allowing that to be out at the forefront, like having a stage name or something like that. And I feel like I do need to read these like a storybook, because I've been asked to do so by Spirit, so I will do that now. So I don't know whether this is your energy and the relationship that's led up to it, or their energy leading up to it, but it may have help you kind of decipher who this is. So with this strength card first, with this 9 of Wands, there's so much Wands energy here, so fire energy, so Leo, Sagittarius and Aries, but also we've got this earth in the raccoon, so Virgo, Capricorn or Taurus. Potentially they might have these placements within the chart. If not, do not worry, that might just be a nice confirmation. But with this strength card, it feels like there's a mask that has been up, or boundaries, and maybe that's your own boundaries or their boundaries, like very very clear set. And it feels like with that strength, that the end road where that was going, it feels like you were almost holding back your passions and desires potentially from this person, or maybe that was the space that you were in, but it felt like there was just that long road that you'd been trudging on, or they'd been trudging on, and it was like that final step. And with this Dominion card, it feels like just a surge of like wrapping up, and like this encapsulating energy that maybe completely took over and dominated, but felt like you were trying to reassessing where you were going. So I just feel like within this connection, like there were boundaries that were maybe set up, and then there was almost like this energy of, okay, let's get going, let's start doing this, and then it feels like there's almost this interference and this like ghosting energy, or like this just cut off, like this creativity cut off with this Empress, like no, like nurturing wasn't happening at any point, and it just went into like this frozen zone, as it were, like things just completely thawed or fizzled out after this almost intense, like dominating fire energy that was coming out, like this let's create, let's you know, encapsulate ourselves around this energy. It just feels like a full-on crossroads, like interference with like an insurmountable situation, which felt like you couldn't see which way you were going, and then it feels like with this Three of Wands, like there's this active waiting now, waiting for something to come about or to be born, as it were. And I'm seeing like this almost this butterfly journey here, like almost it's in that cocoon at the moment, and it's almost like waiting for, like maybe they've got a creative project or something that they've needed to focus their attention on, and they drew time away, or maybe you did, maybe it's flip-flopped, and you had to focus on that, almost focus on that creative baby, as it were, and you almost hid behind that, or they hid behind that, and there's this kind of waiting in the background now, like knowing that this thing's going to come about to life, or it will come back, like this relationship, like I'm hearing the Bring Me Back to Life like song, like this wake me up inside, like this feeling like things are going to reignite, that things are going to come back, and there's that virtue, that truthfulness with yourself of, I am at almost peace with where it is now, but I can see where it's going. And with this Eight of Wands, it feels like maybe it's coming in quite swiftly, or these thoughts certainly do, that it's coming about, and it's just a matter of time when you receive that news or that knock of either your vision or your creative output going out into the world, or theirs. Yeah, this person, I feel like, can get very wrapped up, like with that cocoon, on projects or goals that they're going towards, and it's almost like when the light is on you, that is all that you feel that light. And when they retreat, or when they are in that shadow, almost, it's like that they become almost a shadow with this raccoon, like they almost shroud themselves, and they go into their almost creative nest, and then they re-emerge with this rebirth. And potentially it feels like they are just in this rest and rejuvenation period at the moment, or maybe, like I said, you had to take that, and because of this pioneer, that they or you, like, create things that haven't been done before, identify a need, and that takes a lot of time and effort to birth those things, and potentially they're almost, I want to say, like a professional procrastinator if they're not doing. Like, I think if they're doing, they are there, they are always, and that's almost why they interfere, like their thoughts almost interfere and maybe even block off energy, because they're like, no, you need to cut off from everything. There's almost that complete pullback and strip back of, okay, no, this is our time, we've got to focus on ourselves, and almost retreat really into that shell before then coming back. And it feels really like hot and cold here, which is why I kind of said the ghosting thing. And so maybe when you see this person or you feel their energy, it feels like those little jolts of electricity, like I was saying before, that it's not necessarily in the physical things of what you do, like the plans that you have or different things, but it's just that energy of when you feel their almost eyes, that intensity on you, it feels electric, it feels like a jolt. Yeah, do you know that, and I know I said like coffee earlier, that that video of Andrew Garfield describing Emma Stone as a shot of espresso, it almost feels like this person is that, in a way, is like a shot of life and like that creativity, that fuel almost. And with that raccoon, it does feel like maybe they're even in hiding at the moment, but that doesn't necessarily mean their thoughts aren't there with you. But like I said, I feel like they can only really focus on one thing. It's like they become, like they've almost got this addictive personality, like they become addicted to whatever it is that they are focused on. And if that is their project or their creative project, like they are all there. Like it's almost like complete tunnel vision towards that thing. And maybe they've even got a great success with it, so that's why they almost do hide. And maybe they even have like a kind of face that they show the public, in a way, like if they're an actor, like they have an actor's name, or you know, if they're a writer, maybe they write under a ghost name or whatever, or you know, like whatever it is, or like on TikTok, maybe they're known as something particularly, whatever it is, whatever kind of maybe spotlight they are in, when they're themselves, it's almost like they don't, like that public image isn't a thing, but they do retreat fully inwards. Like they almost present a completely different mask. And there's almost that identity thing of, am I who everybody thinks I am? And like, do I have to stay in this box that I've created for myself, or can I change and re-identify? And maybe that's where that rebirth is coming in. Maybe they, it's almost like their creative ego, they've almost got a fear of it, of what they've almost created, and how can they break out of that box? Can they break out of that cocoon that they've almost wrapped themselves in? But yeah, I feel like this person, equally with this Two of Wands, sees you as this fiery person who maybe as well has, I think, tremendous amount of strength. That's what I think that they see. But we've also got this Sagittarius in this strength card, and also this Sagittarius in this Eight of Wands. And I know I said Leo, Sagittarius and Aries in terms of fire signs earlier, but Sagittarius being that hunter and being that almost adventurous spirit. But I'm literally seeing that bow and arrow, like when I think they see you as someone as well, when you've got that target of where you're going to go, that dominion that you're going to create and feel and move towards it, that's your adventure. That's the thing that you, and a creative visualization feels like something that maybe you both share, and maybe your expansive dreams. And maybe this person has hit their time, their ship that's come in, and their like almost their goals are maybe they're at a different place in their journey. Maybe you guys are quite similarly creative and have that creative flair, which is almost what links you. And maybe and what I would say, what Spirit's saying, is that like you both have a passion for that creating of seeing, like doing things and seeing things that haven't been done before, and you almost come it from a balanced place where you can almost, you take that time to know who you are and where you're going, but you approach it in very different ways. Like they need to withdraw and take time to like they really withdraw within themselves and can only focus on one thing, whereas you can almost keep your life going and all the different things going around, and still it's like you don't have a creative mask for what you create, in a way that you and maybe that's what they want more of. Like, you know when you need to take rest and rejuvenation, but yeah, like, you have that detachment from what you do in maybe a much healthier way than they potentially do as well. But yes, I feel like with this swiftness, like, maybe the velocity at which they came into your life has been really swift, or potentially like when you meet each other, like it's like bumping into each other or what it is. But yeah, it feels like these thoughts are almost like a Ace of Wands kind of bombardment. Like, they are quite like I wouldn't be surprised if it's almost like telepathically linked, like you think about each other at the same time, and it feels like an overwhelming amount, like that, like I said, shot of espresso coffee, like that kind of thing. But also maybe you potentially share creative ideas with this person, and maybe you were at one time going to like have a project that you both did together, and maybe that is still in the pipeline, as it were, but maybe something interfered. And what I will say is that the energy of this connection feels different to the external, and I would always read the energy of it, because this energy feels like two souls that are similar in their need, and they're striving for that, following their intuition and that spark and seeing where it goes, and almost like very industrious and has that kind of seeking energy of trying to align, but also trying to bring about things other people can't in that pioneer, and setting new horizons. And I think if it feels like words, thoughts, or feelings sometimes get complicated, or it feels like there's interference from outside situations or things like that, like, read that energy. And also, I mean, your internal reflects your external. So if there feels like there's conflicting things within you, maybe that's why within this connection it feels like there's those conflicting things. Like, potentially there's that feeling of you need to be sure in what you are doing, and if that then aligns, which it feels like it should easily align and it should flow with this person, it almost feels like that's when things feel electric and feel like there is that connectivity. And if it feels like there's blocks or obstacles, potentially that's because there's obstacles within you, maybe questions that you need answered, or worries or fears that you have around what this is, or how you can create together, if that is something that you do. So this could be a partnership. It doesn't have to necessarily be a romantic connection. It could be, but it could be like partners in business, or like I said, like if you are writers or musicians or something like that, like collaboration, people that you share your passions and your desires for, and that can be a really raw thing, being that vulnerable and sharing your art with people in that way, especially if you're reinventing yourself or trying to birth new things and close a chapter of one facet, and kind of brand yourself, I want to say, or reposition yourself within your industry, or within what you're doing, and maybe if you're able to share that with one another and find that rest and rejuvenation with each other, that's the energy that you need to read from this situation. But yes, I think if it feels competitive between you both, or it feels like you are very much pegging each other with where you are, you know, and maybe you're on different ladders, but you're both creatives, like, you are on different paths. Remember that, even if you're in the same industry or you're doing the same things, like, that doesn't mean that you are any less than them or they're you, no matter what position. Like, really it's not in the physical matters that makes up and defines your success. You define that for yourself, and you have your own goals and ambitions, so always make sure you align with those, no matter, even if this person is very similar to you and you feel like you can share a lot and all of these things, and even if you work very closely, like, your achievements are your own. Your idea of success and how it feels is something completely different, and you should always be aligning to your that energy of what it is that you want, because the physical matters, the contracts, no matter what they're doing or what you're doing, that shouldn't have a rung on this. And again, I think with this Empress card, maybe there's been moments where you don't know how to feel. Maybe you don't know where that position is. Like, you don't, like, projects will always go through delay, especially creativity in the sensual world. Like, goals can be halted because of different aspects. You can be held up, and it like, the divine's timeline is not on your timeline. Sometimes things don't go in the way that we expect them to. There are interferences, there are breaks from energy, but most of the time it's for a purpose, for us to refocus, to weed out that which doesn't serve and draw our attention elsewhere. So if it feels like your arrow is spinning in a different direction to this person's, that's absolutely fine, but as it should be. Like, you find your true north and keep connecting with that. And you can always be walking your separate journeys together, like cheering each other on different times and all of those things, and still be a partnership, being standing boldly apart to be together, no matter what kind of thing it is. And there is that support that I think with this rebirth, with this earth star chakra, that, you know, potentially that there is this grounding and this nurturing, and maybe your soul experiences are quite similar in that, and that's why it feels like, you know, sometimes we only walk our journey with some people at a certain time, and that's what that relationship serves. So if there's interferences that feel like obstacles which are too hard, like, read that energy of, am I being broken away from this because this energy doesn't serve me at this moment in time? Is it supposed to be frozen at this time so I can draw more centered towards myself? Like, maybe it's just a matter of time that we come back together and we work together, or our relationship rekindles. But you can actively wait for that opening to come about. You don't have to keep pushing and pulling your energy there. Like, always draw that back within yourself is what I would say. So my glorious friends of pile 2, I'm going to leave that there for who is constantly thinking about you. And I know I went into a little bit of, I did this for pile 1 as well, this kind of empowerment of yourself and understanding the relationship, and maybe how, if there are obstacles and things, how you should focus your energy. But I always think that's what I like to do, is bring that for your own self-exploration, especially if spirit's brought this person to you, of why they're constantly thinking about you. Like, if you're thinking about this person, or if you're not thinking about this person, what should you be thinking about? Or how should you be thinking about this relationship as a learning experience? Because that's what people are brought to us for. Every relationship is an experience to grow and learn, and nurture ourselves. So my glorious friends of pile 2, I am going to leave that reading there for you today. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch. I hope it resonated with you. I'm sending so much love. If you'd like to see me again, please do hit that subscribe button. Until next time, I really hope to see you there. Bye. Hello, my lovely friends of pile 3. So if you picked the Tarot in Wonderland and also the Serpentine Heart, then this reading is going to be for you. So let's firstly shuffle your tarot cards. I have got your oracle cards ready and waiting for you as well for this reading of who is constantly thinking about you. And obviously your relationship to this person may vary. You may not have much of a relationship with this person. That doesn't mean that they're not thinking about you. Or like I said in the intro as well, just because they are thinking about you does not mean that you necessarily have to think about them as well. This is what this reading is here for, is to explore who is constantly thinking about you, what it is that they may be, and also why Spirit wants to draw your attention to it too, because everybody is brought into our lives for a reason, for a lesson to be learned. And so maybe this person holds a key in some way. So we're going to shed some light on that too. So let's shuffle your tarot so we've got firstly the Three of Pentacles for who is constantly thinking about you. We've also got the Eight of Wands. We have got the Nine of Swords. We have got the Five of Wands as well. And we also have the Nine of Pentacles too. And on the back of the deck, we have the Ace of Cups as well. Okay. And then in terms of oracle cards, we have Queen, radiates the regal feminine, uses her benevolent authority to protect others. We have Lamb. We have psychic development. We have the Temple Path. And we also have 56, relationship change there too. So I feel like firstly, the first thing I want to draw attention to is the fact that this person, even if you are fully independent, or I feel like this person could be a role model to you, is a thing that I want to say firstly. I feel like they almost encapsulate with this Queen, this regal feminine, this benevolent authority to help protect others, is able to, I'm getting real like earth energy here with this Lamb as well. So Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus potentially, maybe signs within their chart or signs within your chart. But I feel like you almost emulate this person in a lot of ways, and maybe you have quite a lot of should directives of what you should be doing, of how maybe you should be like this person, or how you can grow closer to what they symbolized for you if they are a role model. And this could be a teacher or a parent or grandparent, or any kind of figure that felt like a nurturing, giving energy that almost provided you with exactly what you needed it when you needed it, whether that be advice, time and resources, a safe space. And you almost want to emulate that and be your own independence. And I think, you know, maybe it'll take time to, and maybe you don't even feel like you'll ever fully get there, but you want to feel as, I think, regal, but also as giving as they were, as someone that people will rely on. And that's really what I feel like you take from this relationship in a lot of ways. But I feel like this, because we've got this psychic development, which is all to do with the third eye chakra, the sixth chakra, with expanding psychic abilities, potentially this person is not with you anymore on your journey. And with the Temple Path here, and also the relationship change, potentially they are not physically on this earth anymore with you, by your side in that way. But that doesn't mean that they are not with you spiritually, as part of your spiritual team. And I feel like maybe you've even been receiving kind of downloads from them, or like the overwhelming feeling that they're close to you, or they're thinking about you, or maybe there's even signs that make you think of this person a lot. And you know, for some people, maybe that isn't physical death that has happened and that relationship change. And it might just be that if you are cut off from this energy now, and you do not have that as a resource that you tap into regularly. It's almost like their advice is always with you on that, in your spiritual body, not physically or maybe emotionally there to tap into, but it's like those lessons and those ideals that they passed on are always there. And with this temple path as well, I do feel like there is this spiritual connection, this soul connection, and I'm hearing faith as well, and maybe this is with psychic development, maybe this is a muscle that you are growing and expanding, maybe opening yourself up to spirit, maybe you are receiving messages in that way. And obviously there's different ways you can receive messages, through feeling, through like words, or through vision and hearing and knowing, and whichever way, whichever muscle maybe you're flexing, as it were, potentially you're feeling that closeness. And with this Lamb card as well, when the Lamb came out, I thought of new spring, new life, new birth, and that thought of kind of reincarnation. And maybe that's in images that you see, or things that make you remember them. And whether that's in, like I said, maybe you're not with this person in terms of as a resource that you can physically go to, whether that's through physical death potentially, or like a change in relationship where you don't see each other now, or whatever, in whichever way, it feels like maybe their lessons keep cropping up in new ways through new people. And with this Lamb, there's almost that peace and this innocence here of potentially their words almost being spoken to you by others in a comforting way, but also in a way that it almost feels like with this psychic development, like the coincidence of the universe, like you are being reminded of this person's power, and also your own power, and almost their lessons and everything that they've said to you and they've done for you. And I think with this Three of Pentacles, this person is a part of your team, whether they're with you or not, but they're also a part of your story, whether they're with you or not. And I think whatever mountain you are looking to conquer, no matter what rabbit hole, as it were, that you are going down, no matter what journey it is that you are embarking on, this person, their wisdom is always shared with you and will always radiate towards you. And I think with this Queen, I'm getting this real matriarchal energy, this protector energy, that this person that held family, or held friendships or circles or classroom or whatever it was together, and there is a new opportunity for a way of seeing their power and their energy that can burst through the external. Because I feel like externally, maybe it feels like there is conflict or opposing wills and desires, and you can't really see clearly, but this person is like a beacon for you during this time. So no matter how nightmarish it feels, no matter how many fears and anxieties feel like they're looming over you, potentially the thoughts of other people like projecting onto your path, like this is a light for you. This person is a light for you. This energy of just do it, like almost presenting, like I'm seeing pulling strings for you in a way, like and whether that's the universe supporting, like reminding you of the messages of this empowering person that helped you at one point through your life, or whether it's them being part of your spiritual team, kind of guiding and signposting you, they are constantly there, like holding things up, like in front of you, like the picture is there of what you need, and it's like they're there, like offering it to you, presenting it, like you want this, well here it is, like come and get it, like I can hear you, I am with you, I am supporting you, whether that's through the universe or through your team. And I think with this Nine of Swords, no matter how nightmarish a situation is, no matter what obstacle you come up against, no matter, even if it's just the prison of your thoughts and you feel like you are just being swallowed by pain and fear, like no matter how nightmarish it is, and no matter what monsters are under the bed, is what I'm hearing and what they want to say, no matter what is there, whatever's lurking in the shadows, this person is a light and will always be there to help turn on the light. And like, whether it's their lessons and that comfort of that, or whether it's, you know, on a different plane, like, this person is there. And I think what they want to say as well is that this, and what spirit wants to say to you, that your internal is a reflection of your external. And if the conflict, if it feels like there's conflict or strife around you, it's because there's potentially an imbalance within. And I think this person, their energy helps remind you of what it is almost, and the alignment of where you want to be, or certainly the energy that you want to release and align to and give off. And even if you're alone and it's your independent thing, you should be proud of all the work that you've done and have an appreciation for yourself, for where you've gotten yourself to. And the progress, it may be slow, it might not have been easy, but you've got yourself to this far, and you have so much to be thankful for and to be proud of yourself for as well. Like, you're going down this road, maybe not even knowing where it's going to go or which turning, but there is this just do it energy and this creative stir. Maybe that they even help provide you with eureka moments in some way, but those moments are going to help burst through this disillusionment or this feeling like loads of different things are happening, and you can step away from that energy and step into your personal power. And I think with this Queen here, like, you are as an authority as they were to you, or are to you still in memory. And I think with this Lamb as well, there is this kind of prophet in the Lamb as well, and like spirituality or religion, and it doesn't have to be in a in any structure, any particular religion that it goes into, but the Lamb, that symbol of rebirth, and that important message and that prophet that keeps coming to you. And whether it's on a deep level which you find within yourself on that quiet, or whether it's being like a mirror to you in the world, being constantly shown to you, like through signs, maybe that's what you're asking for, or potentially messages that keep cropping up. Like, this message is always going to find you, and this wisdom will resonate with you, because it's supposed to find you. It's in a gentle and patient way, and just as the universe supports you, this person supports you. And that truth is your gift just there. Like, I think no matter what the relationship dynamic is, no matter where it is, like this, their energy should always fill you with expansion and a new opportunity to grow, and a new emotional way of being as well. Like, even if it feels like there's an end or a change, like, it opens for new possibilities to ask for support, to have this person near you in thoughts, to align to that energy, whatever it is. And these are creeping. There's that Queen of Pentacles, the Queen, and then obviously I was saying about that Nine of Pentacles as well. Like, and I think this person wants you to banish all what you should be doing, and how you should be more like them, or how you should get to that energy, and actually look at what it is that you want and create what you want for yourself, and realize that you are already a giving person, that you are already the giver that they were, and that energy, that regal energy to other people, that queen to other people. And of course you can look after other people, you can give your time, energy and your resources to others, but don't forget to take for yourself. And I think that's the most important message, and this is what this person almost constantly wants to remind you of, that even if you are giving out into the world, they're there to support you with that, but make sure you are taking that time to tap into yourself, tap into your own gifts, your own talents with that psychic development of what you know to be true about yourself, because that's when you express yourself to your fullest. And if it feels like there's conflict, or the external feels darker, and there is that fear, anxiety, take that time to listen to what's going on inside of you, and take that time for rest and finding yourself again, in whichever way you spiritually do that, whether it's through yoga, taking a walk, eating a good meal, whatever it is, that self-care, please take it. That's what this person wants to remind you of. And also you never walk alone with that Three of Pentacles. Like, there is always a team, that the universe or this person or their lessons are always going to be there to lift you up and support you. It's like a grounding for you with that Three of Pentacles, that no matter what mountain is there, no matter what obstacle is in front of you, like, you can do that together. And like, you're the one that lays out the plan. You are the ones that says what it is that you want, and everything is like a ladder. All the experiences that you encounter are a ladder that's helping you move up it, like helping you move up the ladder. And yes, and I'm also seeing, because these picture frames here, even if they're just immortalized to film or a picture or whatever it is, like, whatever image that you have of them, and maybe it feels static, like, their energy is always there. Their energy is always bringing new things into the frame. Like, it's not just a close of chapter. Like, you are the one that keeps their memory and their lessons moving along, imparting that wisdom to others, but also being and being, through being yourself, you are honoring them, but you're honoring yourself too. And you should be so proud of yourself and all the achievements that you have created on your own and independently. And there's only more to come with that Nine of Pentacles. 9 comes 10 after that wealth, that abundance. Like, that's what you're creating, and you should be proud of yourself for where you're going and where you are going and what you have done already. But yes, and you are constantly supported, and their lessons will always find you, because they do think about you. They thought those lessons, and they wanted to impart them to you, but also because you've taken them on as something that maybe you want to achieve, to emulate them. And that's really what a role model is, you know, it's, people are flawed, people aren't perfect, but sometimes we have a picture of what it is that we want to be like, and it may not look exactly the same what we create, but it's the energy that you want to emulate, and you already do. This person is saying that, and if you want to be closer to that voice and closer to that energy, then keep finding yourself, keep aligning, and there are always those downloads that are coming in through the psychic development. You always have that line of communication, that support, especially when you turn inwards and you are looking for it and you are asking for it. This person will always answer. It may not be in the package that you expect, it may be in a completely different way than it was the time before, but be aware of the subtleties, because it is there. So my glorious friends of pile 3, I'm going to leave that reading there for you guys today. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I am sending you guys all the love. If you'd like to see me again, please do hit that subscribe button, and until next time, all the best. Bye. Hello my lovely friends of pile 4. So if you picked the Santa Muerte tarot deck and also the Aquamarine, then this reading is going to be for you. So firstly, let's shuffle your tarot cards for the question of who is constantly thinking about you. So I've already got your oracle cards ready and waiting, and like I said in the intro, you don't necessarily have to be thinking or reciprocate the energy of this person. That is absolutely your own free will. You live your life, you think and feel the things that you feel, and you don't have to, like I said, reciprocate that energy. So let's get going. So for pile 4 spirit, who is constantly thinking about them. So we've got the King of Pentacles, we have got the Queen of Wands, we have got the Emperor, we have got the Knight of Swords. Wow, okay. And who is constantly thinking about, and we've got the Nine of Pentacles there too. And we've got the High Priestess on the back as well. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Let's get your oracle cards down as well. So we've got Artist, expressing a dimension of life that is just beyond the five senses, inspiring others to see life symbolically. We have Crow. We have Determination. We have Blossoming Abundance. And we also have Karmic Completion number 10. Okay, so I'm really interested by this energy, because we got so many, as in people cards, court cards, like kings, queens, knights, pages, that have come up here for this reading as well. In terms of signs, there are a heap of signs, so I don't really want to go into them because I feel like this is all energy. But I feel like this person that is thinking about you may be a person from a lesson or a karmic cycle that you have gone through already. It feels like you, within this particular relationship or connection, maybe you were involved with this person, and it might have resulted in a lot of effort and potentially even pain. And it feels like with this determination card, like you were almost trying to swim upstream a river, like almost trying to make this connection work potentially. But now that you went through that and through that pain, you don't have to enter back there because karmically you've already gone through that lesson. And it's almost this Wheel of Fortune card, like whatever went up, whatever went around, it has to come back down again. And of course tides are constantly ebbing and flowing, and maybe it feels like you had to adapt a lot to the pain and the effort that this particular situation or person potentially put you through, and that's part of the ebbs and flows of life. And now maybe you're in this flow state, and out of this almost struggle is what I want to say, and maybe you are more centered and grounded and stable, and now this is your time to say that this is your time not to be almost bombarded with this person's energy in a way. And actually maybe you were cut off from this person, or things ended for a reason, like came to that completion for a reason, and maybe with hindsight you're able to see that now. And with this crow, potentially you have air placements, or like I said, I kind of feel like it's more the energy, but if you did have air placements, it might be a nice confirmation for you, Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra, or potentially this person has them. But I feel like you are now much more spiritually clear and stronger and much more maybe watchful of things, but you can almost take all the lessons from the past, and particularly the situation, and you're able to kind of, I want to say, there's this grounding, there's this clarity, and there's this strength, taking almost everything in your stride, like nothing's going to break your stride. But I feel like there's this newfound sense of determination within yourself, and this is the solar plexus chakra, this finding of your own personal power and empowerment through this situation, through learning this lesson, and through that became this blossoming abundance, and that you're able to almost not only live your life through the five senses, but also through like this through this third eye opening. And I know obviously we're talking about who is constantly thinking about you, but I think it's because you are so strong and emulating such a strong energy, which is why I want to talk about you first before I talk about this person, because I feel like this person was a part of that ebb in your life potentially, and maybe was even the cause for a lot of pain or conflict, certainly within you potentially. With this Emperor card, it feels like they had this quite mask energy of needing to create and creating order and stability, and potentially they were even quite rigid in their thinking and in their patterns of behavior. But also it feels like I'm hearing brick wall, like they would maybe it's like they created this kind of castle around them, and potentially maybe they let the moat, like the bridge, the moat bridge down and allowed you in a little, but there was always that closed offness, is what I want to say, like this almost keep back energy. And I feel like with this King of Pentacles, like they were maybe quite established in where they were, or maybe they were really focused on their work or their career, or that need to create like their wealth, as it were, but like their central wealth of whatever plans and goals that they were going towards, like that was their ultimate goal. And maybe they had so many dreams and desires almost looming in front of them that they were losing themselves in it. And maybe at one point you thought you could be an anchor or a light, or trying to help and almost trying to call out and say, look, I'm here, I can help you through this. But either way, I feel like there was that you were almost losing yourself to like externally to this person potentially. And maybe that was a lesson or a pattern that you learned, that you can't truly change or save anybody else from their rigidness or from their structures of what they know, what they believe. And maybe that their thoughts and words, and with this Knight of Swords, their truth or their ego certainly felt like it almost trampled all over you as well. Like maybe your thoughts were constantly bombarded with them at one point, and now maybe it's almost reversal, because you've almost drawn back your attention towards yourself. It's like you're not chasing that anymore or looking over there. You are fully within your power. And it feels like this person who was so wrapped up in almost their box, in their structure of what it is that they were creating or what they were almost trying to protect. Maybe there was a fear of truly expressing themselves, or opening up to their dreams and desires, or what it is that they wanted to do potentially. And now it's almost like you've stepped into your empowerment and to your like into your energy of just do it. Like it feels like you are now the yang creating, because I feel like there is this connection to realizing that all the resources that you needed were always within you, that you didn't need anything externally, whereas they are potentially focused on the external. And that's almost the lesson that they brought around for you, that it's not about the external things that you have or the external experiences that you go through or that need to create. That's not what makes up you, because you're not going to find happiness in that. It's that inner knowing and that inner determination, and that artist within that, and you have all the resources that you could ever have or want or need to create what it is that you want. And it's almost with that yin energy here, with this High Priestess, you are able to almost find your magician, and I can see poking right at the back the Magician card, and that's almost like what you've found, as it were, that like this divine feminine and masculine energy, and working with the divine to co-create, that you can wield any weapon at your disposal to create what it is that you want, with action and determination, paired with this intuitive knowing that you are worthy and all the abundance is already within you. And life is a mystery, and maybe you feel quite mysterious to this person because maybe when they knew you before, you were smaller to them, not in any way, and that's like their view potentially on you, and I'm not saying that you were that at all, but maybe they pegged you as something and didn't give you the credit that you deserved at that moment in time, always thought of you in a particular way, and were never open because they were rigid with how they were feeling, or how they were, into seeing your true power. And now that you've just focused everything on yourself, you've gone through that emotional storm and you've come out shining brighter, and your creative spark, your optimism and your intuition, your internal flame, that artist within, is the thing that draws people to you and has probably captured this person's attention again, and is almost them looking at you now. But it's because you were your truth. You are acting authentically. You are being that thing. You're not shouting it from the rooftops and trampling other people with dreams and desires, and almost the way that they were going about things. They felt like it was, they could talk the talk, but they couldn't walk the walk, as it were. And you are just walking in your truth and your independence and your knowing, and that's where that abundance is coming in. And you are almost like just living with this Nine of Pentacles in your luxury of all the hard work that you have done, and you stand tall in that fact, in that experience that you have created. And I think that's why this person is constantly thinking, because maybe they know that this chapter is closed, and maybe they didn't realize even how much they impacted that almost determination. Actually, like, now it's my time. I'm not going to focus my attention externally or get wrapped up in a situationship or in a relationship where they are taking and I am not getting anything back potentially. And maybe it was unrequited energy that you were invested in the relationship, no matter what form that relationship took, potentially more than the other person, or was certainly giving more of your energy to that person. And now it's almost like that power is back with you, that is that. And with this crow, it's a long symbol of magic and witchcraft, and with this high priestess as well, it's almost like that, I think personal power and personal magic that you have, realizing that, and that you can be and have and do anything you want right now by asking for it and believing that you can have it with that determination. Like, you are being called to, like, be aware of how powerful you truly are and the importance of that. And like, sometimes you need to push for it, and sometimes, and you know, maybe you had to do that and it did feel like an upstream battle, but now it should feel so much more like your dreams are not overshadowing you in potentially the way that the other person's were, because you are clear on your path of where you are going. You're determined towards that. You fix your eyes on what it is that you want to create, the abundance that you want to do. And it's like, yeah, what goes up must come down. Like, you, in that Wheel of Fortune card, like, you are playing the game for what it is that you want to create, and you are taking on the change as it comes into you, and you're living your life with this artist, inspiring others to see how to be this thing, like how to just be determined by just being yourself. And I feel like you're a true champion in this way. And I think with that Nine of Pentacles, it doesn't matter how long it took you to get there. It doesn't matter what road you took. Like, you luxuriate in what you have created and in that plenitude and that luxury. And you should be so proud of yourself, of everything that you've achieved. And this person, like I said, everybody comes into our life for a lesson. They were a karmic lesson for you, and with that karmic completion, you don't have to go through that same lesson again. If they haven't changed, then you don't need to accept any of their energy. You put your boundaries up. You know what you have learned, and yes, there's maybe things that feel like traps, that maybe you feel like you get caught up in where you have been in the past, but you're able to remind yourself of, no, I know who I am, I know my light, I know how strong I am, I know what it is that I'm moving towards, I know where I am going, that those things can't draw you back in. And that's being an instigator of change, and being a healthy emperor in a way of and maybe where they were rigid, you're much more fluid and flexible, of realizing that all the structures you create, like, you need those boundaries, you need that structure, that anchor, that need, but it's not permanent. You can keep reevaluating what it is, and maybe the way that they didn't realize, and you're not going to trample over anybody to speak your truth. You're just going to be it. You're just going to be unapologetically you, and follow your spark, and be that true visionary and free spirit that you are, and not hold anything back, not lock anything away. Just be authentic. So yeah, I like your magical power, and I can see why this person, maybe their thoughts are around you because maybe they know the pain, the emotional storms that they put you through, and maybe there is remorse there in some way. But if they come back with you to speak to you or whatever in that bombarding way, then you know that maybe they haven't learned the way to handle, or the way to communicate with you, or in a way that is respectful. You've just got to keep doing you, and keep shining as brightly as you are, because you're going to attract the right people back to you. And where there is light, there are also moths. So moths may be drawn to your flame, and maybe this person is a moth, maybe they're not, maybe they've grown, maybe they've changed, maybe they are a light and they too reciprocate that energy. But read the energy of the room. Words, thoughts, actions can all lie, but that energy doesn't. And when they are around you, does it feel like you burn brighter? Are you both radiators? Do you feel warmer? Do you feel supported? Or do you feel drained? Do you feel like your energy is focused on them with little back? You know that cycle within yourself. You know how that feels within potentially this connection or this relationship. And yeah, I think Spirit is saying with this Nine of Pentacles, like, you focused and fostered this independence for yourself and found all this abundance. You don't need anybody to continue to flourish and grow and nurture yourself. And yes, and there's like, some people are brought to you as a mirror of energy, that you like holding up lessons for you of what you don't want to be, of what you need to step away from, or to remind yourself of situations where you weren't connected to that sense of self, that power and that determination. And the thing is, you've got things that you're going to do, and it's not going to be easy necessarily, especially opening yourself up in this way and being that artist, finding that artistry within, and you know, inspiring others in the way that you do. I feel whatever it is that you're doing, maybe it's spiritually related, maybe it's opening yourself up to your relationship with the divine, maybe that's something you've been working on, like, that takes time, connecting with your higher consciousness. And don't allow yourself to be drawn into situations, into draining relationships or situations that are going to take away from that. Because you've learnt those lessons, you don't need to return to them, and you know when the energy is right and when it isn't. And you know, this person can be bullish, they might have a great tenacity, they might be very brave and daring and all of these things, but that can breed egotism potentially. And if their ego is strong and they're not checking it, or they don't understand it and how it manifests, like, that can be potentially quite dangerous and detrimental to you. As in, you know, they can do whatever they want, that's their free will, but if they're affecting you and your journey, that's where we need to look at it and be like, hey, no, I'm on my path, you're on your path, you stick there. And you don't need to save anyone, or to I heard preach to the choir, but you don't need to tell them if they're not willing to open themselves up. Like, it's a self-discovery. It's nurturing yourself, and you can't force anybody to do the work on themselves too. Like, you can't save anybody. Like, you just being you and doing what you do best and shining brightly, like I said, it's going to be a beacon for others, and it is an example for others of how they can look at themselves. You don't need to do that for them, and that's never going to stick if you do. And obviously I picked the Santa Muerte Tarot is the one that you picked, and there's obviously this skeleton, and I feel like there are some things where let things lie is what I'm hearing. Like, some things have come to an end for a reason, and you learned from them, and they are the past. And the thing is, you have learned, you have grown with those lessons, and you've changed your behavior. And maybe that's the difference between you. Maybe they haven't analyzed that, but they're going to be continually showed that same lesson until they learn it. And that's what I mean, is that you're not you don't have to return to be that lesson to them. Like, you're on your path, and sometimes those things lie, and don't, like, it's great that you've got this origin story potentially of like where you've been, and it's so good to remind yourself of how determined you are, and connecting to that energy. But you don't need to dwell on where you've been. You've closed that chapter, and you are creating new things with this artist. You are creating new journeys and paths for yourself. And it's so important to see where you've come from, in order to grow, and also to be proud of yourself, to in your achievements of getting to here and to the now, and the present is that gift. So yes, just remember where you are going, be proud of where you've been, and know that you can keep going, keep doing the things that you are doing in the present moment. Keep learning those lessons and reminding yourself of those lessons, because they will help you move forward. Like, the experience don't need to weigh on you, and dictate everything that you do or say, but they are a brilliant way of reminding you of just how powerful you are, and how much you can combat, and how many challenges you can conquer. So, my glorious friends, I'm going to leave that reading there for you guys today. I felt like it was much more of a let's turn this back towards you. But like I said, every relationship is a gift for us to learn from. And, this person may be thinking of you, but whether they've changed, whether their energy aids you, Spirit maybe wants you to question that and say, and reflect back. So that's why it feels like it's all coming back to me now. Oh my god, I watched too much TikTok. Okay, I'm gonna leave that reading there for you guys today. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you like this reading, please do hit that subscribe button. I'd love to see you next time. All the love, and yes, see you soon. Bye.